What is going on, Colts Nation? Welcome back to another episode of Bring the Juice. Here is Derek and Cody with you as always. Cody wearing his lucky shirt that he needs to continue to wear every Sunday for the remainder of this year because it's the lucky shirt. He has worn that every Sunday so far, and it has worked. So, Cody, have we gotten a petition on social media at this point to make sure that you wear that shirt every Sunday?
No, we haven't. But Derek, this is a shirt I got this year at my birthday. So I'm just going to say it like Colts are undefeated every time I've worn this shirt. So we do need to keep doing that, man.
Yes, we do.
If you're, let's do it, man. Let's keep this undefeated streak going. I will wear it on Sunday just so the Colts win again. But yeah, man, it's going to be a good one. I'm excited to see, can the Colts get to 3-0, which would be crazy considering that, Derek, there was people who thought the Colts might win 3 games all year, which is crazy. We're already in week 3 talking about the Colts having a really, really good shot here going 3-0.
Yeah, no doubt. And it is definitely some high confidence right now for the Indianapolis Colts. And you got to feel confident too. I mean, even though this is your first road game, you're facing a divisional opponent, but you're facing a divisional opponent that has had some difficulties at the start of this season. Still looking like one of the worst teams in the NFL at the current moment. So we obviously need to bring up some keys to a victory here. But before we do that, I just want to say again, guys, this episode is sponsored by FanDuel. Guys, right now, the current odds on an over-under for Daniel Jones for passing yards in this game. Cody, check this out. 211.5 yards in this game. 211. Now, if you look at it through the first couple weeks, Daniel Jones threw for 276 against Miami, threw for 316 against the Denver Broncos. Cody, I mean, does 211 seems kind of upsetting given what Daniel Jones has done so far, is it not?
It does, yeah, especially because Tennessee might be without one of their top corners, L'Jarius Sneed, in this game, which obviously L'Jarius Sneed's been kind of up and down with the Titans in his first couple of years here. But still, I mean, that's a big name. So just some of the injuries the Titans defense is going to be facing, considering, like you said, what Daniel Jones did. And the Titans, I mean, they've had moments this year where they've been able to do some good stuff against the pass, don't get me wrong, but you do feel like, especially last week, Denver certainly had a better pass defense with all the different players they had out there. You know, they had Patrick Surtain. They had Talanoa Hufanga. Like, they had a couple guys that you're thinking, wow, they could actually be, like, pretty solid at stopping the pass. And they had been up to that point. So, yeah, all that to say, man, that does seem very low for me, especially considering this is a Tennessee team, man, that hasn't been the greatest against the pass through 2 weeks. So, I do think it's low, and if I'm, betting here, I'm definitely hitting the over here.
Yeah, I would definitely hit the over too, even if Daniel Jones doesn't throw the ball as much. I think for as efficient and as willing as the Colts have been recently to throw the football early in drives, I think that's also another thing that kind of helps with those numbers for sure. So be sure to check out FanDuel today, guys. Check out all the fun bets they have, not only for this game, but for other games and sports as well. But yeah, let's go ahead and hop into these keys to the game, man. I think that when it comes to just overall, before you get into anything really specific, and I think it's just, tone deaf at this point, you just kind of need to continue to be efficient like you have been. I think it's weird, Cody, because obviously the Colts have been hyper efficient at being able to do what it is that they're doing. I mean, the Indianapolis Colts, 87.5% score rate on all possessions in this season so far, which is absolutely insane. That's literally almost 10% higher than the next closest team behind them. So, I mean, the Indianapolis Colts are scoring at a rate that no team yet this year has been doing it. Now, do I expect the Indianapolis Colts to continue on this historic pace? I don't think so. I think at some point, Cody, there will probably be some punts and there will be some more turnovers. I mean, heck, I predicted with Rossi in our preview that I think the Tennessee Titans will likely make the Indianapolis Colts have to punt once or twice in that game for sure. But I mean, I think the main part here, man, is just continue to be efficient at what you've been efficient at so far through these first couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. The Colts have been, I mean, it's a historic pace. Certainly nobody thought through 2 weeks the Colts would be doing what they're doing, especially considering, there was definitely some talent, like I said, in that Denver defense, right? So, I mean, this is a Denver defense that I know it was against, obviously the Titans in week 1, but they looked elite. It wasn't just against Miami. In 2024, they were one of the top defenses in the NFL, right? So, for the Colts to do what they did efficiency-wise in that game, I mean, like you said, I think out of all their offensive drives, they only didn't score on 2 of them, and they turned it over twice, didn't even punt it. So, I mean, they were just absolutely efficient again. Wasn't 100% like the Miami game, but still uber efficient in that game nonetheless. So, yeah, I do believe that if the Colts can continue to be efficient offensively, I do think within that, Derek, one thing that the Colts need to do is, obviously field goals are nice, points are nice, but there's a couple times in that Denver game where you're like, man, you should have got 6 there. You ended up with 3. You should have got 6.
Yeah.
And there were some penalties. There were some issues, and I'm sure we'll get into that here. But, yeah, I think overall, if you can continue to be efficient, you can run the football effectively. Again, a Tennessee defense that's very susceptible to the run as well, Derek. I think they're averaging allowing 5 yards per carry through 2 weeks. So definitely seems like a defense that can be had in that department. And if you can continue to do that, I think you're going to be just fine there. So, yeah, efficiency-wise, running the football first and foremost, and then also in the passing attack with what Daniel Jones is doing. If you can just continue, man, to keep Daniel Jones upright, I mean, I really believe that your offense is going to continue to stay efficient. And to the Colts' credit, their offensive line's done that through 2 weeks. I mean, I think it's 2 sacks in 2 games. I mean, he'll take a sack per game for this offensive line, especially considering, Derek, you have 2 new starters in there, 2 guys that were mid-round picks back in 2024 who are, filling in and doing just fine. So, yeah, if you can continue to be efficient, you can continue to score, even though you want to score 6, you're going to settle and still score field goals. I mean, points are points at the end of the day. So if you can continue to stack that, continue to put together some long drives, I mean, Derek, continue to win the possession game. I think that'll be a huge thing, and give your defense some rest as well. And we saw the Colts do that so well against Miami. If you're able to get your defense off the field as much as possible, that's just going to help everybody involved. So, and that starts with being efficient, running and passing the football, getting first downs, going on those long 8-9 minute drives. If you can do those things, that's going to help everybody else out.
Yeah, and of course, with the injury situation, I mean, it looks pretty good going into this game for sure. Just some more hyper details to talk about when it comes to the offense in particular. As we said before, no turnovers. If you can refrain from doing the turnover thing, that would be great. Now, it will be difficult here, Cody, because I believe the Tennessee Titans are tied for first right now with turnovers forced this season so far. I think they have forced 5 turnovers in the first 2 weeks. Now, the Indianapolis Colts, they have 4. So obviously the Indianapolis Colts are up there, but the Tennessee Titans, they have been causing people to turn the ball over. Despite giving up a lot of points, they are creating opportunities. Unfortunately, just isn't opportunities that their offense is taking advantage of. But if you can score 24 points in this game, I am truly confident that that will be enough to win this football game. Again, the Tennessee Titans have not scored 20 points yet this year. Even if they did somehow score 20 in this one, I don't think they scored 23 or more. That's about it. And I think another thing, Cody, just to cap off the offense is, and you mentioned it in your last statement, finding a way to turn 3 into 6. Find a way to score in the red zone. That has been a little bit of a difficult problem for the Indianapolis Colts here in this first couple weeks. We've seen them score touchdowns, but I think it's only at about a 50% rate right now that they're scoring touchdowns inside the red zone right now. That has definitely got to be something they have to improve on if they want to continue to win these matchups.
Yeah, again, when you're playing the elite of the elite, right? I mean, if the Colts are able to score a couple more times and punch it in, I mean, Derek, they don't have to kick that game-winning field goal, right? So those things, they matter at the end of the day. So You got to be able to do that. Again, you'll take points, no doubt about that. But Derek, if you're Indianapolis and you're playing, some of those top teams, you're playing the Baltimore, you're playing, even I don't even know. I was going to say Kansas City, but they're 0-2 right now. But you know what I mean? If you're playing some of those elites of the elites, the Buffalo Bills, some of those teams, you have to score 6. Like, you just have to. They're too good to leave points on the field. You just have to do that, right? So, yeah, I think you're absolutely right. I think if there's any critique of this offense, it's the fact that in the red zone, you've had your moments where you haven't been as efficient. I mean, I think about, Derek, that run that Jonathan Taylor has near the end of that game gets you down within the 5-yard line and you don't score 6. Like, that can't happen. So, yeah, you got to be more efficient in those ways. Again, this is a Tennessee team that's 0-2, so you might be able to get away with it a little bit more in this game. But still, you got to start fixing those things up because you're going to be playing some good teams like the Rams coming up and a couple other teams that you're going to have to be ready to go offensively, and they're going to have to score 6 in order to win those games. So, yeah, I think you're absolutely right from that standpoint, Derek. You have to be able to, first off, no turnovers, but then converting and not, Derek, shooting yourselves in the foot when you're down within the 10-yard line. You can't do that if you're the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, you can't have those holding penalties. You can't take sacks. You can't do these things to push yourself back. You just need to be smart, need to punch it in and do what you need to do there. If you can do this, Derek, the offense is already scoring enough. Like, you can continue to do that and get a couple more potential field goals and convert those into touchdowns. Your offense is just going to take it to even a further better level moving forward. So, yeah, absolutely. You got to turn some of those field goals into more scoring opportunities within the red zone.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, moving to the defensive side of things now for keys to this game. Obviously, we know that the rushing defense has to be better. We've seen it through the first couple weeks. The rushing defense in total has not been great right now. But I think one thing, Cody, that kind of has me a little bit more concerned than usual is the lack of a pass rush that the Colts have gotten through the first couple weeks. I think that we've only had 1 sack, or no, it's more than that. We had at least 2 against against Miami, but you didn't sack Bo Nix once, even though there were debates on whether or not one of those should have been one. But overall, the lack of pressure on opposing quarterbacks has not been very good right now, even with some of the blitz packages that Lou Anarumo is sending, still not sending it at a rate that the opposing teams are throwing at us, right? Mm-hmm. Like we saw that the Dolphins, they threw a blitz on 50% of Daniel Jones's dropbacks. Denver, they did it 71% of the time. And it doesn't feel like the Indianapolis Colts are doing even anything relatively close to that kind of number. Now, I mean, a lot of times I don't feel like they need to, but it would be nice to see Lou Anarumo kind of amp that up a little bit, given the fact that, this front four that you have right now, you're still not getting a pass rush from your front four, and it's very concerning.
Yeah, it is. And Derek, this might come down to cutting the play time of guys like Samson Ebukam and Taekwon Lewis. I mean, it might be that in favor of guys like JT Tuimuluau, and also Adi Tamiwa Adebaware was getting some pressure as well. So, I mean, if you have to do that, then do it, man. You got to figure this out when it comes to the pass rush. Now, certainly getting Laiatu Latu back will be a big addition if indeed he continues to trend in the right direction here for the Colts. That will be great news. But you're right. Like, your pass rush has been non-existent. I think if there's any sort of probably biggest flop so far through the first 2 weeks, it's been your edge group. I think they've just been poor, to be honest with you, in pretty much every category. So, especially getting after the quarterback. So, yeah, if you're the Colts, you absolutely need to figure this out. And do not be afraid to set some veterans on the bench. If they're not getting the job done, give it to some guys who will get after the quarterback. And I think that's good. If it continues like this, we might start to see that trend happen, Derek, for the Colts in their edge group, right? Because, I mean, you have these guys that should specialize and have been there and have gotten after the quarterback that at least against Denver, they were not doing that. And if they continue to be ineffective, why play them? I mean, honestly, like go run with the young guys and give them an opportunity then. But you're absolutely right. This is a Miami offensive line, Derek, that they're very susceptible. This is a Tennessee offensive line, Derek, that's very susceptible to the pass rush.
Yes.
They're going to be without J.C. Latham, one of their better offensive linemen. And through the first couple weeks, they have not protected Cam Ward well. So if there's any opportunity to get your pass rush right, it's against the team like the Tennessee Titans here. If the Colts don't do that, we got bigger issues at hand, Derek, and we might need to make some moves here to get that position right. But yeah, I was very, very unimpressed with that group through 2 weeks, and especially against Denver, like you said, where Bo Nix had all the time in the world. And you're like, you guys have been in the league for 5, 6, 7 years. How are you not getting after the quarterback at all? How do you not even touch him or knock him down? It was embarrassing, to be honest with you. So, yeah they got to figure that out, man. Pass rush got to come alive here in this game, because if not, we're going to have a lot more question marks here. And we might see some young guys get some more snaps than we initially thought here early on.
Yeah, and I mean, and you don't want the Tennessee Titans to have hope for their offense. You know, we don't want them to have that ability. And the only way you can do that is if Cam Ward feels comfortable in the pocket, which he hasn't felt through the first couple weeks in the NFL. So if you want to win this game soundly, you're going to have to be like what the other teams are doing, and that's getting pressure on this rookie quarterback and forcing him to have to make throws where he improvises and then makes mistakes. That's what you want to do to be able to just be able to win this game like this. And I think the one other thing that we can mention, and it goes without saying, just avoiding game management mistakes. Like, I mean, again, Cody, we saw what happened on that last drive against the Denver Broncos. You know, you had multiple different situations that you could have dealt with there instead of running the ball 3 straight times on your opponent's 43-yard line and proceeding to get 1 yard out of it. There were many more different ways that the Colts could have approached that, but Shane Steichen didn't. Now, Shane Steichen mentioned that, you know, he understands how messed up that was of him, and he says that he's going to be better at that going forward. Just hopefully, you know, if this game does come down to being close, you know, those end of the game situations, Shane Steichen has a better lick on it this time.
Yeah, let's hope so, man. I mean, we've seen at times, and I know Shane Steichen being a first-time head coach, you're going to have those bumps in the road, but we've seen at times where Shane Steichen's not necessarily done the best in terms of certain situations near the end of games or in critical moments, right? Where you're just like, what were we thinking here? Why did we do this? So, yeah, I think if you just be smart, don't do something unnecessarily stupid if you're Shane Steichen, and just play your game, man, and just be efficient. And, you know, if something's working, don't go away from that. That was one of my biggest frustrations with Frank Reich, Derek, was you're running the ball. Okay, let's throw the ball four or 5 straight times. It was like, what are we doing? Like, why are we going away from our strength, right? So I don't think Shane is susceptible as much to do that, but, you know, just don't do that stuff. Be smart with it, and situationally be wise with what you're doing. And I think if they can do that, they'll be just fine.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, that's going to do it for this one. Again, shout out to FanDuel for sponsoring this episode. Guys, FanDuel has all different sports, all different types of bets that you can make on basically anything that you want to, whether you are a football fan, a basketball fan, baseball fan, soccer fan, hockey fan, whatever the heck you are. Hopefully you can find it there on FanDuel. Thank you guys again for tuning in. Greatly appreciate it. Let us know in the comments what your keys to victory are against this Tennessee Titans on the road. But that'll do it for this one. Thank you so much. And as always, go Colts.